Anda asik terus melakukan penelitian tentang Indonesia melalui film ya, tidak berhenti ya.
Yes, but I don't at this stage feel that I should write another book, right? And I'm not so. I pay less attention now because I think it's for new people to write about what's happening now, right? And maybe they can follow my example by taking things seriously and not just criticizing everything.
Yeah.
But again, as I said earlier, if I write 3 or 4 books, people won't know which one to read. Nobody will read all of them, and many people will start to read and they say, which one should I read? And they don't read any. Right?
Yeah. Anda tidak pernah mengenal pensiun lah soal itu ya. Anda sendiri tinggal di Bali ya sekarang ya?
I live in Bali.
Di Bali, beristrikan orang Bali.
Yes. Dia orang keturunan Kupang, dibesarkan di Kalimantan dan di Bali.
Dan kemarin-kemarin saya dengar Anda baru ulang tahun putrinya.
Yes.
Ulang tahun yang
ke-14.
Ke-14, namanya Maya ya.
Maya.
Putrinya itu selamat, David Danan ya. Anda bahagia sekali.
Yes.
Iya, dan ada rencana istri akan ke Australia.
Maybe. There is a possible plan, but it has not been realized yet.
Tinggal di sana, enggak? Hanya maybe ya.
Maybe, yes.
Tapi kalau Anda sendiri?
I don't know. We haven't decided yet. But the question is, does my daughter need to do her final years of education in Australia so that her English is really good and her knowledge of Australian academic procedures is good?
Ya, buku kedua Anda, Moment in Indonesian Film History, Film and Popular Culture Developing Society antara tahun 50. Berarti Anda memang mengikuti film Indonesia sampai tahun 20 paling tidak.
Right.
Bahkan sebenarnya Anda juga mengamati film Indonesia sekarang ini ya. Setelah tahun 2020.
Kalau ada waktu.
Kalau ada waktu. Anda menemukan sesuatu yang hebat-hebat perkembangan film Indonesia setelah tahun 20?
Yes, there's one film by Garen's daughter which is an absolutely exemplary feminist film. It's a really good feminist film, but it's not
politik.
It's not too political. It's very human in the way it approaches things.
Banyak ya film yang bicara tentang
humanisme. I'm just trying to remember the title of it.
Apa itu?
I forget. I haven't been thinking about it for a year, but it's a very good film. I think it's her second major film that she did. She did one in Bali, and it's the one that follows the one in Bali. Look, the other thing is, I mentioned this, for many years I distributed Indonesian films on DVD. And Harvard University now has 15 of these films. Yale University has 15 of these films.
Sorry. Teguh Karya, Dieter Cafe.
That's a great film internationally. That is Teguh's best film. It's an amazing film.
Secangkir
Kopi Pahit. I went to the premiere of this film and Teguh said proudly, "This is my bitter film. Ini film pahit saya."
Ya, ini film pahit. Ya.
And this is Aryo Danasiri.
Ya, dokumenter ya, Aceh. Ini Roro Mendut. Ini Roro Mendut yang Ami Priyono ya.
Yes.
Anda
saya berdiskusi film ini dengan lebar dalam buku pertama saya.
Itu ya.
Because the body language in the film is very good. So I distributed 16 films between 2000 and 2013 from the Monash Asia Institute Press. And now there are universities around the world that have these films. Important universities.
David ya, Anda kan sangat orang yang kemudian akhirnya mengatakan bahwa arsip film itu penting
Yes.
untuk ini ya.
Yeah, that's right.
Ya kan?
Including Cinematheque.
Ya, including Cinematheque. Menurut Anda pengarsipan film di Indonesia sudah berlangsung seperti yang Anda bayangkan atau belum? Dari pengalaman Anda berkunjung ke Cinematheque, ke ANRI, ke melakukan penelitian.
That for a country that's had the history that Indonesia has had and the financial limitations, I think Indonesia has done very well. And I might say that Cinematheque Indonesia for me was always a very good place to do research.
Thank you.
Very welcoming, with well-informed people and belief in what they were doing, and no, if I may say it, no bureaucratic pissing about, right?
Yeah.
So, I really respect Cinematheque Indonesia.
Yeah.
It's one of the highlights of my career to be able to work here.
Iya, tapi kita memang karena tadi dengan biaya terbatas sebenarnya masih bisa yang bisa kita lakukan, yang ingin kita lakukan untuk lebih bisa melayani hal itu.
I'm sure that.
Ya, tetapi karena ini kan independen, swasta, biaya terbatas menurut Anda, sehingga ya sekarang menurut Anda sudah bagus lah. Terima kasih juga.
Yeah, well, I haven't worked here for a number of years. We did launch my first book here in 2017, and there are lots of good photos from that. But no, I think Cinematheque is a good place to come and do research. I don't know what your ability is now. I don't know, for example, what percentage of new films that are made get deposited here.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
And I wrote an article for a Filipino journal, a long article in which I discussed Cinematheque Indonesia. If you don't know the article, I can send you a copy of it sometime. But somebody read the article and they wrote another article and they said, oh, do you know that Cinematheque Indonesia only has 1/4 of the films made in Indonesia? Isn't that terrible? And somehow the implication was, can't Cinematheque Indonesia do better? It's up to the producers as to whether they will give you the films or not. Whether they care about how important it is to preserve a film. It's not up to you because you can't pay for it, but you can do them a service. And people like Teguh and the family of Shuman Jaya, they all believed in depositing films here. And in fact, the creation of this archive of Cinematheque happened shortly after the death of Usma Ismail, because people who had worked with him, and there were a lot of people who learned from Usma, including Ms. Bark, but also Nya Abbas was a pupil of Usma's. Azrul Sani worked with Usma early on in his career. They wanted something created in his memory. So there is a whole sort of commitment of the top filmmakers to this archive.
Kalau pengalaman Anda mengakses film, mengakses data ke Cinematheque kan tidak begitu problem ya, meskipun kita.
Well, no, I didn't have. I did a lot of my research in the 80s and 90s, and I would look at. We were looking at films on 35mm prints, which were played on viewing tables, and we even did the transcriptions of the dialogue of films like Lewat Jam Malam, Daradan
banyak lah
Kamu Agung.
Terakhir.
Right. So, and your staff, including Sandra's father, but Hartono, they helped me.
Namanya Ahmad Rifai.
That's right.
Bapaknya.
That's
itu,
right. They helped me. So, I had no problem in accessing material with Indonesia.
No problem
No, it was exceptional.
Kalau di Australia mudah juga akses.
Australian archives, there are branch offices in each major city. So there's a branch office in Sydney. The main office, the headquarters and the archive itself is in Canberra.
Canberra.
But the Melbourne, where I lived, that has its own branch office, and I would work there, and the staff that I worked with there were very helpful. But they didn't help me translate dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
But they were very good. And if there was a problem with the main office, the staff in Melbourne would contact the head of the archive in Canberra and say, one of our clients is having a problem about this. And so I would get quick action because they would go to the top.
Okay.
So, I personally got good service in the Melbourne office of the National Film and Sound Archive.
Iya, David, terima kasih. Kita berbincang-bincang, kita ngobrol-ngobrol.
Okay.
Iya, dan
I hope it didn't go on for too long.
Iya, silakan juga kalau
You can edit it.
Anda balik ke Bali kapan?
Hari Sabtu.
Sabtu, ya. Tapi sering ke Jakarta atau kalau ada acara-acara begini aja?
No, saya tidak datang ke Jakarta sejak tahun 2018.
COVID.
Well, COVID itu alasan pertama, tapi juga tidak ada urusan di sini.
Yeah.
Because until 2 years ago, I'm writing this book, right?
Yeah.
At my computer.
Dan di Bali lebih tenang ya, lebih enak ya. Apalagi ada keluarga, ada anak ya.
Yeah, and also I think the atmosphere, the quality of the light and everything in Bali improved this book.
Iya.
This
Oke.
has the spirit of Bali in it.
Kalau ke Australia sering berkunjung?
Saya juga tidak
Sejak
pergi ke
tahun-
Australia untuk 5 tahun oleh karena
Sejak tahun 2018 juga.
seperti itu.
Seperti itu ya. Oke.
Well, saya sudah pergi tahun ini, but ini pertama kali untuk 5 tahun.
Oh iya. Oke. Terima kasih David Danan. Kita bangga Anda peduli pada Indonesia, peduli pada film, dan buku Anda luar biasa.
Oh, thank you very
Iya.
much.
Ini akan bermanfaat dan semoga Anda tetap sehat. Belum ada penyakit serius pada Anda, iya kan?
No serious illness.
Ya, no
yet.
serius ya. Oke, terima kasih David Danan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the interview.
Oke.
Okay, bye.
Iya, bye.